Well, it's Uncommon Fossil, and today I want to talk about one of the best resources available to Pokemon TCG players, and it's Limitless.com or LimitlessTCG.com, as well as the site play.limitlesstcg.com. I'm going to talk about the site in general, talk about some of the different things you can get there, and then at the end of the video, I'm going to talk about how I would use this website to build a deck. And I'll kind of and I'll kind of talk about that process and how I utilize it in that aspect. So there is a link to the site in the description. And the link is to the page I'm currently on, limitlesstcg.com/tournaments. And I like it because I like to see the tournaments, but also it provides me, like, with one click, all the pages I want to get to. So we have here on this tournaments, these are the completed tournaments here, and Atlanta Regional is just completed. So if I click on Atlanta Regional, it takes me to that. I see a whole lot of deck lists now, 272, and I can click on the link and get the deck list. You can copy to the clipboard, then import into your live.com account, Pokemon Live account. You can also, if you click open as image, then you can see it, which sometimes is better for certain things. So that is one of the things. So completed tournaments. It also allows you to see, the city league, like upcoming tournaments. These are IRL tournaments. City leagues, you can see the completed Japanese city league tournaments. So this is often in a future format to us, and you can click on the tournament and see the top 8 decks, I believe, or top 16 decks, and you can click on the list and see what those are. So, and so that's its own resource too, worth paying attention to as well. And then you can also see online tournaments. So this is what takes you to, quote, a different website, play.limitlesstcg.com, and it takes you to upcoming events. And if you want to play in online events, you come use this page. You'll hit the registration, and then fill that in. Most relevant, I think, is just upcoming. You can also show the progress. Upcoming is just ones that are future from the time you're looking at it, and then you can look at completed, which is a nice thing to do as well. Especially if you want to take a look at completed, give you a sense of what's going on. What I would often do, and you can have a filter, by the way. So, like, I only want Pokemon TCG because it has other games as well. A standard format, because that's usually what I'm doing. Actually, let me just clear everything just to make sure. So Pokemon TCG, standard format, platform, on live, and I'll just say online, because these are online tournaments. Sometimes it's like with a webcam. So I get a list of a bunch of tournaments and a bunch of pages, and then I can see, like this tournament was 126 players. I want to check that one out. This one has 7 players. That's going to be probably less relevant and such. So you can kind of see, generally look at the bigger tournaments. Usually want at least 60 players to kind of to get a meaningful meta. The other thing is sometimes they are non-standard events. So if you click on the name of the tournament, it'll tell you the description as well. So you can see if it's truly standard format, or if it's like some modified version of that. So that's that aspect. So the big area, the two of the other really good areas, and there's other things to explore too that I'm not even going to talk about. There's the cards area. So you click the cards, you can type in any search you want. So Pheasantipity, right? You can if you just type in part of the name, it will pull up all the Pokemon that match it. Now I see there's an EX plus a single prize Pheasantipity, so you can click on it. I use this for thumbnails, and so it's just good for reference as well, seeing what cards do. So that's useful. And there is a advanced search where you can fill in options and more information to try to get the cards you want. There's sometimes, I will say, there's certain ways things I'd like to search for, I can't, but that's always an issue just in general. And then the last thing, which is really what I want to focus on a little more, is what I would use to build decks. Now, obviously, these tournament decks are useful for sure. Also, by the way, with cards, let me just click, because I'm in cards. So if I typed in Gardevoir, okay, we know Gardevoir. And if I click on Gardevoir EX, because we know that's really good, I know that's been used IRL a bunch. So it will tell me, City League decks will tell me Japanese list, which especially if I want to see what's going to be in the future. But then but under deck list, this is a standard format. and now I get a list of all these decks. It actually won in Atlanta, came in 7th and 19th. I can see that, and then it also shows me older tournaments as well, as well as some non-US ones. I mean like Japanese. I guess these are all on standard. Like so, Brisbane, you can see came in 4th there. It also sometimes will show you for. This is SRs for senior division, JR for junior, so that's the younger ages. Stockholm won that. So you can get a sense of what it's done in the past as well. So that's just useful to see as well. But getting to what I generally do the weather's nice and people aren't riding motorcycles, so you probably might have heard that in the background. So what I like to do is use his hit decks. And you can look at, and then online. You can also look at Pocket. Pocket has information here as well as for cards and tournaments. So it's useful for that as well. But so I click on online most of the time. So this is, and I'm going to spend a little more time on this, and then I'll talk about how I would actually build a list from this. So just so you know. So within this, the game is Pokemon TCG. You can see One Piece, Digimon, or Pocket format. And there's standard, there's expanded, there's different blocks. It also has GLC. GLC is coming to, although a truncated GLC format, of course, is coming to live. So you can kind of look at things in legacy formats, but generally standard is what I have because that's what we're playing most of the time. And then set Journey together. When a set's brand new and there's not really results for it, you can go back to an older format. And sometimes you just want to know how things were in the past. So it is like Prismatic Evolutions. That would be when Prismatic Evolutions was the newest set release. So, but at this point, I'll just leave it in Journey Together. There's enough results. So what you can do, it shows you by default the top 50 lists. If you say show all list, then it will come down. In this case, that's at 95 now. But you see a lot of decks that were played once. So by one person. So I'll talk about these columns in a minute. But anyway, it's nice to get to see that. You can combine related deck variants into one archetype. I like to leave that not clicked, but you have that as an option as well. And the default way it sorts things is by count, which is by number of people that have played it, not the number of times the deck was played, because we know that's not exactly what it means, because this was played one time. Koraidon, it means by one player, and they lost all 4 games. So it didn't do well, so as we can tell. But sometimes a deck played by one person might have done well. So you got to try to use your judgment with these results. What I like to do a lot of times is hit the win rate and sorts by win rate. This for some reason this first deck they didn't finish a game and it's at the top, so we ignore that. Like this deck list here is 71% win rate. That's insanely good, but it's only played by one person at one event, so not very relevant probably. Next, same thing with a Walking Wake deck as a Poison Terapagos deck only played by 3 people, so you could take a look. But we get here to the Dragapult deck, which is played the 11th most deck by 235 players, and that's a reasonable number. So that is, I think, the first deck with it's the highest win rate among the deck with a decent amount of play, and it's 58% win rate. That is really good. So I'm going to take a look and show you how I would now. And look, and also Dragapult, I like Dragapult. We also have it in the starter deck, so Dragapult's also really good with a new account like I have here, because we could upgrade our Dragapult deck pretty cheaply here. And I'm going to talk about that next. So, so what do I do here? I say, okay, I want to know about Dragapult. I click Dragapult. It gives me a list of however many decks this is. So what I do now is I open up a number of deck lists. Usually it kind of depends. Like I want to make sure they're bigger tournaments. Like this is 258 people that won it, so that's good. And I just open new tabs. What I'll do, come through these top decks. These are all over 100 player tournaments, so that means it's usually pretty representative. That's 5 lists. That's probably enough for me. I could keep coming down in it. All these amounts of players are pretty good. This one here with 37 people, like let's say that was like a list I wanted to know about. I went 8-0, that's good. Only 37 people. Is it a standard format deck or tournament or not? So if you click on the name of the tournament, it takes you to the tournament description, and it looks to me, you can obviously read through everything. Also, you want to, if you're playing a live event, you're going to need to read through this too when you signed in. So it looks like it's standard format here. So but anyways, but I'm not going down that far on the list. So I have five lists. That should be enough. Okay. So when I come to these pages, which I opened up in a new link, because I'm going to want to compare between them. So It first, by default here, it takes it as a text description. You can also, by the way, it shows you the player. You can see who they played against, their matches, the name of the opponent, but also the type of deck it was, and that's really important as well, right? Because if you're like, okay, how could, sometimes it's like you think a deck has major problems, and you can look, did the opponent dodge the bad matchups in the tournament, which happens sometimes, right? So that's useful as well. And there's other things you can find out with the tournaments as you search around. Just obviously, click tabs and see what they do. But so we get to the deck list. It's a text description. You can copy to your clipboard, which is one of the things I would first do. Copy the clipboard. It's copied to the clipboard. Now I can import this list into Live if I wanted to. Now, what I want to do is, rather than just cut and pasting the top deck list, I like to look at a few and see how they go. So the best way for me to do it is to open up visually. Now I'm going to close up the text one, because it opens it up in Open as Image. It opens up in a new tab here. If it's an IRL tournament, it's the same tab. With this one, it's a different tab. So I'm going to open up these. I have 5 deck lists as text lists, and I want to see them visually. So now what I'm going to do is I have these 5 deck lists, and I'm going to want to kind of see how I want to build. I want to build a Dragapult list. I want to give it a try, but I want to kind of tweak it a little bit to myself, right? And that sometimes the top lists vary a lot. In this case, they're fairly similar. We'll just kind of take through some of the early steps. So it's a Dragapult. So first, I want to generally pick the Pokemon I want as well as the count. So like I go Dragapult EX. Okay, it's a 4/4/2 line. I get that. You want 4 basics. Dracloak has an awesome ability, so 4 of that makes sense. And 2 of the EXs, okay. I go, okay, is 2 EXs enough or 3? So they take a look at the top 5 lists. 4/4/2 again, 4/4/2, 4/4/2, 4/4/2. So I'll go, okay, seems like 4/4/2 is pretty settled on. I'll go with that. Okay, 2 Badoos. Badoo is a nice counter card, so I can come through here. 2, 2, 1 there, 2. Okay, so I will go, I'm going to put 2 on my list, but I keep a little mental note, or you can write it down on a piece of paper. Some people play 1. It's a 1/0/1 Pidgey. I like Pidgey. There actually is a Dragapult Pidgey decks as well. That also have a pretty high win rate, so they have a higher count of Pidgey IDX. This has a 1/0/1 line. I like that. How many of them play that? This has it as well. Has it. No Pidgey IDX. Has it. So 3 of them do. All the way. They also, I believe, have Blood Moon Ursaluna EX, so I put that in. They all play Monkey Dory, either 2 copies or 1 copy as you look through. So you kind of start to make decisions. Hawlucha. This one plays. What you want to start to see is what the differences are, because you have to be careful when you're kind of putting together your deck that it's cohesive. Like, so this list, let me see. Okay, this list plays Mimikyu, and I like Mimikyu, honestly. In some ways, I like Mimikyu more than Hawlucha. But so I could like put the Mimikyu in instead of Hawlucha, let's say. But and I kind of started doing that. But then the problem is this is actually a wall deck, because it then has the Farigiraf as well. So it has another wall card, a 1/1 count of that. So it's a bit of a wall deck. It also then plays 2 Monkey Dories, because that's what fits in with the strategy. It means a second Darkness energy. The other decks all play a 3/3/1 line of energies, that's after I set the Pokemon, I do the energies, and then I go to the trainers. And if I copied into Live, which is what I might do, I would have copied in, say, the top deck list, or at least one that's the close to what I want. Then I start looking through, all right, 4 Ionos, 4 Arvins, and I kind of would go, okay, 4, 4, 4, 4. This one only has 3 Ionos, but this is the counter deck, which is a little bit different type deck. So, okay, a 4, 4, and I kind of just work through all these cards one by one, or sometimes more than one. Like you want to think through the synergy, like say Pokemon search cards. There's Buddy Buddy Poffin, Ultra Ball, Nest Ball. Do they have synergy together? Like I go, okay, I don't want to play Nest Ball. I want extra Nest Balls. Is there a reason why the counts are with, say, the Pokemon and all the different cards? Because there is a certain synergy with it. You don't just want to pick, I like this card and this card and this card and slap it together. You want to try to understand how the cards fit together. Now, if you're a new player, what you're going to do is you're going to kind of use your judgment, and you're going to find that you're going to make some mistakes. First off, you're going to lose some synergy sometimes. It's inevitable, but that's what deck building is a fun thing to me. It's not just about copying lists and playing them. That's not a bad thing to do. You learn from that as well as it can be fun. But you want to start to build your own decks. This is kind of the first step, the first kind of small step to deck building. Take a look at a number of lists and put together your own list from it. Like for instance, most of these lists are running Survival Brace. I'm not a huge fan of Survival Brace in the deck, but maybe that's what makes sense. This one plays Sparkling Crystal. So how do you want to do it, and why one versus the other? You know, you're going to make a decision with that because you can only play one ace spec. A lot of lists like play Penny. Why do they play Penny? So some lists don't play Penny. Why don't they? Usually the lists that play Hawlucha play Penny. The lists that don't play Penny don't play Hawlucha. Okay, I get that because Hawlucha's got an on-playability. It's a basic Pokemon, so the Penny allows me to repeat that. So, okay, makes sense there. So you kind of want to start to understand the logic behind the cards, why they're in the deck. Then you're going to play so you're going to build the deck in line, and then you start playing the deck. Try it out, see how it goes. If there's some decisions, sometimes there's bigger differences between the decks. These are fairly similar, I would say. You want to make note, to me, what I want to do anyway, is make note of the major differences between the decks. Like I didn't include certain Pokemon. Could I make? I just want to remember that, because if I'm finding I play like in one or two games, this isn't enough to really know. So you want to play like 3, 4, 5 games, get a sense, and then you're thinking like, okay, that Pokemon I left out would be really good in this deck. Let me do that. Or I have a low count or a high count of this single particular Pokemon. I think I can see why other people played more or less of it. I'm going to make that adjustment. I really want this trainer, things and so on, right? So that's the process. You just start to develop some skills of deck building. It's also a way to get ideas, for decks you wouldn't think of yourself. So it's a great resource for a lot of things. I love the deck building part of it. That's my favorite part is, coming into the link I have, and I hit decks and hit online, and I love looking at this list and just seeing what they are, paying attention to what the most played decks are, as well as what the decks with the highest win rate is. So it's just really good information, and just a good way to start to develop as a Pokemon TCG deck builder. So anyway, hopefully you find it useful. I'm going to have a video on a Dragapult deck that I've put together from these deck lists, and because it's a really good list, and it's super budget friendly as well. So if you want to find, that's a separate video, should be coming out soon, so you can keep your eye out for that. Anyway, take care, have fun, and play Pokemon, but also build some decks. If you're really uncertain about it, use Limitless. It gives you kind of a good foundation of how to start to build a deck, and you're kind of tweaking, massaging the edges. And as you do that more, you'll be comfortable being more adventurous and building decks on your own, which is a big part of the Pokemon TCG and a big part of what makes it fun. So take care.